The mahogany-paneled office felt heavier than usual that Tuesday morning. Sunlight filtered through tall windows, casting long shadows across the Persian rug where Thomas Mitchell stood with his 8-year-old daughter, Lucy. Her small hand clutched a worn green book while his weathered fingers held what appeared to be an ordinary silver coin. Thomas wore his best shirt, the faded olive work shirt he'd pressed carefully that morning. His dark hair showed the silver threads that come with raising a child alone, working double shifts, and carrying worries that never quite leave a parent's heart. Lucy, blonde hair neatly braided, wore her yellow Sunday dress, the one with the small tear near the hem that Thomas had mended with patient stitches. Across from them sat Margaret Whitmore, the company's CEO. Her silver hair was perfectly styled, her blue suit crisp and expensive. Everything about her spoke of boardrooms and bottom lines. Behind her stood two executives, their expressions barely concealing their amusement at the scene before them. "So this is it?" Margaret's voice carried the cool efficiency of someone accustomed to million-dollar decisions. "Your grandfather's entire inheritance? One silver coin?" The executives exchanged glances. One cleared his throat, trying to suppress a chuckle. "Thomas, perhaps you should consider other opportunities. Clearly, your family's financial situation—" Thomas felt Lucy's hand tighten around his. He'd known this moment would come. 3 months ago, when old Henry Mitchell had passed away, the family had gathered for the reading of the will. Cousins had inherited houses, business shares, bank accounts. Thomas had received one item, a 1921 Morgan silver dollar and a note. That simply read, "For my grandson who understands what truly matters." The mockery had been swift and cutting. 30 years of being Grandpa's favorite, his cousin had sneered, and all you get is pocket change. But Thomas remembered something. The others had forgotten. He remembered being 7 years old, sitting on his grandfather's knee while the old man shared stories of the Depression, of making do with less, of finding treasure in unexpected places. "Sometimes, Tommy," his grandfather had whispered, "the most valuable things hide in plain sight." Now, standing in this intimidating office, Thomas understood why his grandfather had loved this particular coin. It wasn't just silver. It was a 1921 Morgan dollar in uncirculated condition. But more than that, it was a lesson wrapped in precious metal. Lucy looked up at her father with trust that broke his heart and mended it simultaneously. She'd been so brave these past 2 years since her mother's passing. So understanding when. Dinner was mac and cheese again when her birthday party was just the two of them and a homemade cake. "Ma'am," Thomas said quietly, his voice steady despite the trembling in his chest. "I know what this looks like. But my grandfather was a wise man. He taught me that real wealth isn't always what it appears to be." Margaret leaned forward, genuinely curious now. There was something in this man's quiet dignity that commanded attention. "What do you mean?" Thomas handed Lucy the coin and gently opened her book. Inside, pressed between pages yellow with age, lay a small piece of paper. His grandfather's spidery handwriting revealed what none of the family had bothered to discover: the coin's true value, its rarity, its worth as one of the finest examples known to collectors. But beneath those details, in his grandfather's careful script, were words that meant even more. Tommy always listened when others talked. He helped his grandmother with groceries when his back hurt from work. He chose love over money when he married Sarah, even though she came with nothing but a kind heart. He understands that wealth means taking care of what matters most. Margaret's expression softened as she read. The executives fell silent. "This coin," Thomas said gently, "is worth enough to secure Lucy's education. But that's not why Grandpa left it to me. He left it because he knew I'd use whatever blessing came my way to build something good, to teach my daughter that real inheritance isn't what you receive, it's what you pass on." Lucy looked up at her father with shining eyes. Like how you taught me to share my lunch with Emma because her family is struggling? Thomas smiled, his heart full. Exactly like that, sweetheart. Margaret stood slowly, walking to her window. Outside, the city hummed with ambition and hurry. But here, in her office, she'd encountered something she'd forgotten existed: genuine goodness. "Mr. Mitchell," she said, turning back to face him, "I'd like to offer you a position in our community outreach program. Someone who understands true value. That's exactly what we need." The executives looked stunned, but Margaret continued. "The salary is modest, but it comes with something priceless: the opportunity to make a real difference." Thomas felt tears sting his eyes. "Ma'am, I don't know what to say." "Say yes," Lucy whispered, squeezing his hand. Later, as they walked home through the autumn afternoon, Lucy skipped beside her father, the precious coin safely tucked in her book. "Daddy," she said thoughtfully, "was great-grandpa rich?" Thomas considered the question as leaves crunched beneath their feet. "In all the ways that truly matter, sweetheart. In all the ways that truly matter." And in that moment, walking hand in hand with his daughter toward whatever tomorrow might bring, Thomas Mitchell knew he was the richest man in the world.